What's up, friends? Welcome to this video. My name is Ray. Thank you for tuning in. Today's video is going to be a little different. We're not going to have a yoga practice or a calisthenic workout. If you want those, I have them on this channel. I'll post a little note here where you can have access to different playlists, different yoga workouts, calisthenic workouts, beginner, advanced. But in this video, I want to address something new. I want this channel to be kind of more holistic, not just follow along practices, but also certain talks and certain things that I've learned in my life through my sort of self-development journey. And one thing I want to talk about in today's video is the skill that you can develop in order to become a more optimistic person. In today's world where we are all hyper-connected to everything and there's so much stimulus coming from outside, mainly negative stimulus, it's really hard to put up a filter and be a very positive person. So people through varying degrees suffer from pessimism, suffer from kind of looking at the glass half empty rather than half full. And I'm definitely one of those people who kind of goes through those crests and troughs. And I really have been working on developing the skill of optimism more and more. And I found that there are 3 or 4 things that I do that have helped me develop a more optimistic personality, become a more optimistic person in my life, in the way I regard my life, my future, in the way I regard my environment. And in this video, I want to go through those little hacks. Now, the first one is something that you've probably heard of before, but it's simply holding a gratitude journal. And this is a very small gratitude journal that I write in at night, right before I sleep. I have this right by my bedside. And what I do, in order not to take too much time, but I do recommend journaling in general, what I do is I simply write 2 to 3 sentences about how my day went. A very brief summary about how my day went, whether it was good, whether it was bad, what I did well, and that's it. Right under that, I simply write 5 things that I'm grateful for. It sounds very simple, but it's also very powerful. Now, when you go to sleep and the last thing that you do is you think about what you are grateful for in your life. So you have like a positive mindset right before sleeping, and you do that on a consistent basis. Because all these skills or these little kind of habits that you incorporate, you must do on a consistent basis. And that applies for everything in life. Because if you don't do it on a consistent basis, and if you do it sort of sporadically, you're not going to get the results that you want, right? So it's like you putting in 50% out there into the universe, you're going to get 50% back. But if you put 100%, which means doing something every day, doing it with dedication, with effort, and with presence, then you are much more likely to be reciprocated the amount of effort that you're putting in. So simply coming up with 5 things that you're grateful for, and they can be anything. Like I will read for you some things that I write down, which are very simple. Yoga, students of yoga, cleanliness, being on top of things, smiles. Those are 5 things that I wrote, March 22nd, 2023. So if you struggle to think, or if you had a bad day and you struggle to think of what am I grateful for today, it can be anything. It can be your cup of coffee. It can be the smell when you come out of your apartment. Maybe you smell the fresh cut grass. Whatever it is, simply being positive and recognizing things and bringing things to mind that you are grateful for. Gratitude is an incredibly powerful energy. Right below, I would say love, and to experience it and to feel it on a daily basis, especially before you sleep, over time will really help to become a more positive person. When you're out, even if you're in a negative environment, you can sort of spot the positives. And your operating system will sort of change slowly to be more optimistic and to see the positives in everything. I would do that, grab a little journal, something super small, keep it in your bedside, maybe in your drawer, right before you sleep. It's very therapeutic as well, just to write down, cool, had a great day today, took some bold moves, made some bold moves, was great, had a great time with so-and-so. Just a simple brief summary and then 5 things that you're grateful for. The next thing that I do to kind of continue on this gratitude practice is in the morning during my pranayama, or like breathing. I usually like to wake up and do a little bit of breath work after I go for a brief short walk, after I walk my dog and I'm out in the sun. I come home Nothing too complicated, 5 to 10 minutes of breathing. And I use an app called the Breathing app, which I recommend. I'll put a link in the description below. I have no affiliation to them. I use that app as well as an app called State app. Also really good for follow along breathwork techniques. It's also nice and it's inspiring and motivating to kind of have a follow along breathing app that you can sort of listen to and follow different exercises. So what I do for one app is something called resonance breathing. And there is that type of breathing in the Breathing app. And what resonance breathing is simply equal ratio breathing in your exhalation, or rather your inhalation and your exhalation. So what I do is I work up to 6 seconds in and 6 seconds out. And the physical benefits of this type of breathing are enormous. It is extremely good for your vagus nerve stimulation and to improve your vagal tone, which will help reduce stress, which will help your heart rate variability, which in times of stress, let's say you're on a run or you're stressed out, there's a stressful environment, you get worked up, your heart rate starts to increase. You can easily go from a state of your sympathetic nervous system being very much engaged to quickly relaxing and lowering that heart rate and becoming more calm and more into your parasympathetic nervous system. So doing that type of breathing, that resonance breathing, can really help with that and also help with lowering your blood pressure. Personally, I kept everything the same except I added resonance breathing to my routine in the morning, 10 minutes, 6 seconds in, 6 seconds out, and I didn't change anything else, and I managed to lower my blood pressure a significant amount. It was never high, but it lowered, and I thought to myself, what did I change other than incorporating resonance breathing into my life? And I couldn't think of anything. So a lot of great benefits. So how does this actually help you with becoming a more positive person, being less negative, seeing the glass as half full, being more optimistic person in your life? Number one, it makes you more present. Simple as that. Resonance breathing helps you to cultivate more presence in your life and just be in a calmer state of mind, less nervous, less stressed, less anxious. You're more likely to see the world outside you with a brighter light rather than a dimmer one. What I do to add to this practice is that with each breath in and out, I simply think of one thing that I'm grateful for. So if I do 6 seconds inhale and a 6 seconds exhale, that's a total of 50 breaths if I do it for 10 minutes. So I'm literally thinking about 50 things that I'm happy about or that I'm grateful for. And as I inhale for 6 seconds, I think of whatever I'm happy about, whatever I'm grateful for. It could be anything. I'm grateful for my family. As I exhale, I just give a little thank you, obviously in my head, in my heart, and I just say thank you. I take another inhalation. I think about my health. I have 2 hands. I have legs that I can walk. I have my health. I'm living in this beautiful world. Exhale, thank you. And I do that 50 times. And not only is it mentally stimulating because you have to think about things that you are grateful for. You're in a way counting the breaths as well, but it's also a beautiful practice because you're feeling grateful for 10 minutes and you're thinking and recalling all the things that you are happy and content with in your life. And again, sort of reshaping your operating system. That's the second thing I do. The third thing I do is, this is nothing revolutionary, but it's reading. Reading inspires me, especially reading inspirational books. And I want to put a book that I love here that I've reread a few times. I keep it by my bedside table because it's just such a beautifully wise book and it inspires me tremendously. And it's super short. It's about 75 pages and it is As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. Don't let the title dissuade you. It also is for women. I mean, he addresses it to men, but I believe it's very much relatable for everybody, however you identify yourself. It's a beautiful book and I keep it by my bedside and I reread different chapters. So here's one, Effect of Thought on Health and the Body. Another one is Effect of Thought on Circumstances. So it really is just beautifully wise little chapters that can inspire you. And I chose this book to recommend. I'll put a link in the description. Again, no affiliation, but there are also so many books. And the point of what I'm saying here is that reading inspires you. You get into conversation with people who are trying to teach you something and it helps you focus and it helps you keep engaged and keep motivated and inspired in your life. Reading in general is just a beautiful practice practice, and it's something that everybody should at least take 10 to 15 minutes a day. Read inspiring books, read things that inspire you. It doesn't have to be self-development stuff. It could be beautiful novels, beautiful stories that uplift you, that kind of stimulate those creative juices, and that give you more appreciation of how beautiful this life is. Finally, the last thing that I want to talk about that I do that has helped me in all aspects of my life are challenges that I set for myself. And what these challenges aim to do is discipline me to a certain act or a certain habit by which I know that if I incorporate into my life will help my life become better. So in the case of this, I have many challenges, but in the case of this being a more positive person, being more optimistic, what I did was I set myself a challenge, and I literally wrote a contract for myself. I wrote it on my notes, and this contract was, for the next 30 days, I will not utter a complaint. So you will not hear a complaint come out of my mouth, nor will I allow myself to complain in my head. And as soon as I complain in my head, I'll stop, I'll take a breath, as soon as I recognize that I'm complaining, and I'll let it go. And I won't gossip, and I won't talk about anything negative, and I won't point out what's wrong. And see what that does in my life. See how that changes. And usually with these different practices, it takes time to start to see results. So it's sort of like a pact with myself. Let's see what happens if I become a very positive person and force myself with effort to not complain, to look at everything and find the positive in every situation, even if it's a negative situation. Look for the positive. And by writing myself a contract, I kind of get myself into a pact with myself. And when I break it, if I break it, which has happened, I simply change the date. And I say, okay, I failed. It hasn't been 30 days. I rewrite it from here on out, from this date on. 30 days, I will not complain until I actually reach that milestone. And I look back and see how I feel. Has anything changed? Has things in my life changed for the better? What are they? Journal about it, write about it, and see, wow, maybe that was amazing. I feel great, and I want to continue this. I want to not complain about anything. I just want to be a positive person, because that not only is good for me, but that's good for everybody around me in my environment. So those are 3 or 4 things that I do. Just ideas that I'm sharing here on this channel, things that I do. I know that today's day and age, there's so much negative stuff happening that it's just really hard to be a very positive person. But when you see a positive person who always seems to be smiling, who exudes this beautiful energy, it's so inspiring. And I always think, wow, I wish I was more like that person. And just there's obvious reasons for that. People are attracted to them, people are drawn to them, and positivity is just a beautiful energy to exude. And the more the world does that, and the more the people in the world do that, then the better world we're gonna live. So I hope that was inspirational. I hope you drew a few ideas that maybe you can incorporate into your life to help yourself become a more positive person. We're all on that journey, so there's nothing to be ashamed of. We're all just trying to be better versions of ourselves. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you here again soon.